Welcome to the Spokane Housing Authority Housing Choice Voucher Program briefing. Congratulations on starting your Housing Choice Voucher journey. If you need additional assistance, accommodations, or translation services, please contact your eligibility specialist. If you're not sure who should be watching the Housing Choice Voucher briefing, keep in mind the head of household is required to watch the entire video, and all household members over 18 are encouraged to watch the briefing. In this briefing, you will learn about SHA, the rights and responsibilities of SHA, landlords, and your household, how the voucher program works, how rent is determined, other SHA programs, and resources available. Spokane Housing Authority was established by the City of Spokane in 1972. Over the years, we have grown to assist over 6,500 households through rental assistance. Though most assistance is through the voucher program, as of 2024, we manage 750 units of affordable housing in Spokane County. SHA's responsibilities in administering the HCV program include determining household eligibility, explaining the program to participants, qualifying and inspecting units, making payments to landlords, recertifying participants, and ensuring households and landlords follow HUD's program rules and regulations. Landlords' responsibilities include finding qualified renters, which can include running background, credit, and rental history on prospective tenants, following fair housing laws, making needed and appropriate repairs to their units, following the housing assistance payment contract with SHA, collecting your portion of rent, and enforcing the lease you signed for their unit. Your household's responsibilities include obligations to provide SHA information as requested, such as proof of income, asset, and expenses. You must also find a suitable housing unit that fits within your voucher limitations, take care of the unit, such as keeping it clean and respecting the property, follow the landlord's lease, report changes to SHA, such as income, job, and member changes, and your household must follow SHA's household obligations, rules, and regulations, which you've previously signed. This portion of the briefing will cover how the HCV program works in 10 steps. You're already familiar with Step 1, being on the waiting list or being referred to the program. And you're also familiar with Step 2, having your household determined eligible for participation in the program. Step 3 is to complete the HCV briefing, where you receive the voucher and learn about the Housing Choice Voucher program. The voucher is a very important document which authorizes you to look for a unit. It is valid for 120 days. The voucher includes information about rights and responsibilities for your household and SHA. Let's take a closer look at some of the important fields on your voucher. Here is an image of a voucher. On the right side in box number 1 is your unit size. This is often referred to as your bedroom or voucher size and is determined by SHA's subsidy standards. Subsidy standards for the voucher program is currently 2 household members per bedroom. For example, 1 or 2 people receive a 1-bedroom voucher, while 3 or 4 people receive a 2-bedroom voucher. Keep in mind, a living room can be used as a sleeping area, and SHA does not assign specific members to specific rooms. A live-in aide will be authorized a separate bedroom, and exceptions may be made through reasonable accommodation for disability needs. If your household needs a reasonable accommodation for subsidy standards, complete the RA form and list a third-party provider who can verify the need for the accommodation, how it relates to the individual's disability, and if the accommodation is necessary for full use and enjoyment of your unit. When looking for a unit, you do have some unit size choice, such as choosing a larger or smaller unit. However, your payment standard will remain the same for a larger unit, but if you choose a smaller unit, it will result in using the lower payment standard for that unit size. Now back to the voucher. Under unit size in box 2 is the issue date for your voucher. This is the date SHA uses to determine your expiration date. Below that, in box 3, is the expiration date. You must use your voucher or request an extension before this date. If your voucher expires, you will have to start the HCV process over and reapply to the waiting list when it is open. Voucher extensions can be requested through My Portal and will receive up to 2 extensions of 30 days each. This will provide a total of 180 days with both extensions. A third extension can be requested through a reasonable accommodation based on disability. In box 4, the new expiration date will show here each time your voucher date is extended. After attending this briefing, you will be at step 4 in the HCV program, which is searching for an acceptable unit and obtaining landlord approval. In this section, we will also discuss understanding payment standards, calculating rent, determining if a unit works, and how your rent portion is determined. SHA's voucher program serves the area of Spokane, Ferry, Lincoln, Pend Oreille, Stevens, and Whitman counties. Please contact your eligibility specialist if you would like to move to another county in our area. Searching for a unit can include leasing in place, but we encourage you to take a look in all neighborhoods in our area. You can choose a house, apartment, duplex, or other unit like a mobile home. There are several resources in your packet and on the SHA website, including the brochures called A Good Place to Live, Are You a Victim of Housing Discrimination, and Fair Housing. You'll also find the Area of Opportunity map and affordable housing lists and websites. This map shows areas of opportunity. The darker areas indicate less opportunity and lighter areas indicate better opportunities for things like higher performing schools, access to jobs, improved health, lower crime rates, access to grocery stores, and other amenities. Some questions you may want to ask while searching for a unit include, what is your screening criteria? And then review the criteria before paying any fees. What is the rent for the unit? How many bedrooms are in the unit? What utilities will I be responsible for? How much is the security deposit? For more information on resources for deposits, please review your briefing packet. Now let's discuss payment standards and your rent portion. The payment standard is the maximum housing assistance payment, or HAP, a housing authority can pay on behalf of a household. Payment standards are based on HUD-published fair market rents, or FMRs, for each county. Check your household's Calculating the Housing Choice Voucher Subsidy sheet for your payment standard limit. A list of all current payment standards can be found on the utility sheet you were emailed and is available at SHA or on the SHA website. Here is an example of the Calculating the Housing Voucher Subsidy sheet. Notice your payment standard may also have a payment flexibility on the same line. This flexibility is based on your income and is used to find your maximum budget. Those two numbers equal the maximum amount of your rent plus utilities. This will help guide you on which units will work. Utility allowances are used to determine the gross rent for a unit. SHA is required by HUD to establish utility allowance schedules based on the typical cost of utilities in the area. These are updated annually. 3 factors are considered in establishing utility allowance schedules: unit size or voucher size, whichever is less; structure type; type of energy used, such as electric, natural gas, or wood. Please see the page in your briefing packet about the utility allowances for additional information. Understanding gross rent will help ensure a unit works for your voucher budget. This is the unit's rent amount plus the utility allowance. Let's see this in action and pretend your budgeted maximum rent plus utilities is $1,191. To determine the gross rent, you'll add the utility schedule numbers to the unit's rent. So you found a unit at $1,000 and you are responsible for all electricity. In looking at the utility schedule, you calculate the electric utilities to be $72. Your gross rent at this unit would be $1,072. Based on this estimate, this unit appears to work with the $1,191 maximum rent and utilities allowed. Remember, this is your budgeted amount and not the amount you will pay toward rent. Your portion of rent is calculated by taking your TTP amount and subtracting the utility amount you are responsible for. Let's take a closer look at TTP. HUD regulations specify the formula for calculating the total tenant payment, or TTP, for an assisted household. TTP is the highest of the following amounts rounded to the nearest dollar, either 30% of the family's monthly adjusted income or 10% of the family's monthly gross income. The TTP may be the minimum amount the household will pay for their portion of the contracted rent. Households may pay more or less than TTP depending on the rent charged for the unit selected and any utilities the household is responsible for. First, SHA figures your household's gross annual income before deductions. This amount is the total amount household members receive on a consistent basis, not excluded under regulations. Income includes, but is not limited to, TANF, ABD, SSI, child support, earnings from a job, unemployment, self-employment, retirement benefits and pensions, and any financial contributions received from others. These amounts are annualized before calculating the total. After calculating your gross annual income, we divide the total by 12 and multiply it by 10%. This is your monthly gross income. Here is an example calculation for 10% of monthly gross income. This household has an annual gross income of $13,416. When divided by 12 and multiplied by 10%, the total tenant payment equals $112. To figure your monthly adjusted income, we first subtract allowable deductions from your gross annual income. These deductions include a deduction for each dependent living in the household, a single deduction for households with an elderly or disabled household member, reasonable charges for child care costs when child care is necessary for an adult member to work, seek employment, or go to school, and unreimbursed medical expenses may be considered for elderly or disabled households. After taking the gross annual income and subtracting deductions, we have a total annual income. To get the monthly adjusted income, this new total is divided by 12 and multiplied by 30% for the TTP. Here is an example calculation of 30% of monthly adjusted income. This household has an annual adjusted income of $10,916. When divided by 12 and multiplied by 30%, the total tenant payment equals $273. Since it is more than 10% of the monthly gross income, 273 will be used to calculate this household's rent portion. To calculate your portion of rent, we'll take your TTP amount and subtract the utility amount you are responsible for. For example, if your TTP is $273 and your utility allowance is $72, then your rent portion each month would be $201. If your rent portion is a negative number, you will receive this amount as a utility allowance credit. For more information on this, please see your briefing packet. Once you have located a suitable unit to use with your voucher, you will need to complete Step 5 by submitting the Request for Tenancy Approval, or RFTA. This will be completed on My Portal. When you are ready to send the RFTA, you'll need the landlord's email address, name, and unit address. Then go into My Portal and locate the Section 8 Briefing tab. You'll see the Invite Landlord button. click on the button to start the RFTA process. If the landlord cannot complete this process online, please contact your eligibility specialist. On the next screen, enter the landlord's full name, their email address, and the requested rental unit address, including the street, unit number, city, state, and zip code. Click Preview Email to view the auto-generated email based off this information. Review the information, then click Invite to send the email to the landlord. The landlord will complete their part of the RFTA with unit information, and it will automatically be sent back to you for review. In My Portal, under the Section 8 Briefing tab, you will see that you have a pending RFTA that requires your signature. Click on View RFTA. First, click the View RFTA and review the unit information. Once you have reviewed the RFTA and are ready to sign, you will use the Click Here to Sign button to complete the process. The signed RFTA will automatically be sent to SHA for review by the inspection team. This will also cause your expiration date to be paused and extended until either an inspection fails or you cancel the RFTA. If you have decided not to rent this unit, you can cancel the RFTA. That covers how you complete Step 5, submitting an RFTA. In Step 6, SHA staff qualifies the unit. We ensure the unit is deemed rent reasonable and fits within your payment standard. Then, an inspection will be scheduled or waived. If for some reason your unit is not qualified, we may cancel the RFTA and you will need to restart your unit search. If an inspection is scheduled, you and the landlord will be notified of the scheduled inspection. All units receiving rental subsidy must meet basic standards before assistance can be approved. In certain circumstances, an inspection may be waived. We will let you know if this happens. An inspection ensures the unit meets HUD minimum requirements for a decent, safe, and sanitary unit. Some critical points for a unit to pass include that all utilities work, the smoke and CO2 detectors work and are installed according to local laws, windows that can open must be able to lock, outlets work and are grounded or CGFI protected, plumbing and sinks do not have leaks, and stoves and fridges must be in working condition. If a unit fails initial inspection, the landlord will be informed of the repairs required. A reinspection will be scheduled once the landlord notifies SHA the repairs are complete. Once the inspection passes, you can move on to Step 7, which is to sign your lease, pay your deposit and share of rent, and move in. If you have already moved in, a new lease will need to be dated with the day the inspection passed or later. Then, in Step 8, your landlord will need to provide a copy of the signed lease to SHA and sign a housing assistance payment contract with SHA. If they are new to the program, the landlord will also need to provide direct deposit information. When reviewing the lease, if any corrections are needed, it will require both tenant and landlord approval. Lease amendment letters will be sent to the tenant and landlord once the move-in has been processed and will indicate the household's eligibility specialist. The household should pay the estimated rent portion on their calculating the housing voucher subsidy sheet until the lease amendment is received. Now, moving on to Step 9. Each month, you'll pay your portion of rent to the landlord, and SHA will pay the remaining voucher portion to your landlord. Step 10 in the HCV program is to continue following your responsibilities as an HCV participant. This includes paying your portion of rent each month, paying utilities, following your landlord's lease, reporting any income or household member changes to SHA within 10 business days, completing regular certifications, and allowing inspections as scheduled or required. Remember, if you violate your obligations, you could lose your voucher. For a full list of your obligations, refer to the applicant participant certification in your briefing packet. After your initial lease, or in certain situations, You may move to a new unit with your voucher by working with SHA. This includes portability to other locations within the United States and U.S. territories served by a housing authority. It is important to know that other housing authorities have different screening, payment standards, and subsidy standards, which may affect your household if you move outside SHA's jurisdiction. Many housing authorities have websites where you can find information on porting to their area. Always notify SHA of your intentions to move. We will determine if you are eligible to move and issue an updated voucher. If you move before this is completed, you may lose your voucher. For additional information on portability and moving, please see How Portability Works in your briefing packet. An important message for everyone is about Violence Against Women Act, or VAWA. VAWA provides protections to any victim of domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, or stalking. A VAWA packet is included in your briefing packet. Please visit SHA's office or contact your eligibility specialist if you would like to report and submit VAWA. This can be done if any household member is experiencing domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, or stalking. Households can also report and submit VAWA if they are being terminated from rental assistance and feel the grounds for termination is a direct result of domestic violence, dating violence, sexual assault, or stalking. Within the voucher program, SHA manages other programs with additional rules. Family unification assists families in obtaining stable housing to regain custody of children who are involved with DCYF, and youth ages 18 to 24 who have left foster care at age 16 or older, or who will leave foster care within 90 days and are homeless or are at risk of becoming homeless. Family Self-Sufficiency, or FSS, is designed to help voucher participants increase their earnings and build savings to make progress towards economic self-sufficiency. FSS is a 5-year voluntary program open to active SHA participants. Those with FSS receive personalized case management to meet their personal goals. Please reach out to SHA if you are interested in FSS. Home ownership is a HUD program allowing first-time home buyers to use their voucher subsidy towards the purchase of a home. Participation is limited, and the home ownership program has a separate waiting list. The VASH program provides vouchers for homeless veterans referred by the Department of Veterans Affairs Medical Center. Participants must be in compliance with the Veterans Administration requirements in order to retain their voucher. Portability with VASH is limited to jurisdictions covered by the Veterans Administration. If you need more information, please rewatch this video, review your briefing packet, and visit spokanehousing.org/library for documents, information, and forms. You may also contact your eligibility specialist through my portal, email, or phone for specific questions or to schedule an appointment. For general questions and information, contact customer service through email at customerservice@spokanehousing.org, through the virtual lobby at spokanehousing.org, or in person during lobby walk-in hours, or call and leave a message at 509-328-2953. This concludes your HCV briefing. You can now start your search for a unit to call home. We recommend using websites such as apartmentfinder.org, affordablehousing.com, padmapper.com, and Zillow.com. Thank you for your attention and good luck with your search.